Stop the text, stop the wrecks. How will you stop texting and driving? Tell us at stoptextstopwrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Take a minute and listen to this flashback of the Black by Demand radio show.
Control. They said she wouldn't, so they didn't know if she had a weapon. So it's just a mess. So yeah, you do have to have these discussions with your children.
You do. And you have to make them aware of that there is an enemy out there. Every time the police pull you over, or every time you have an interaction with the police as a black person, you are at risk of being in front of your enemy. Hopefully, it's not a police officer that wants to demonstrate that he's your enemy, but we all see it's a high probability of that being the case. So if we're not talking to our children do not have the coping mechanisms to deal with these type of intense situations. What they're going to do is what most of us do as black people, me and anyone else, which is become emotional. And that is the trigger point for the police. They know that black people are emotional people. So when they arrive on the scene, they are purposely trying to say and do things to you to get your emotions up, right? And then once they get your emotions up, then it's like, oh, that's what we needed. Now we're going to kick your ass. You know what I'm saying? Gotcha. You know, so I'm saying we need to have these discussions with our children, you know, and make them understand in this day and age, and it's every day and age really, but we'll just say this day and age for the sake of it being so prevalent on social media, like you have to understand what you're getting yourself into. And I think a lot of us as black people are just scared to still tell our children that there are a group of people out here that are your enemies.
Join us every Monday at 12 noon for Black by Demand radio show, only on BeExposedRadio.com.
Hi, I'm LeVar Burton, and I'm proud to be a book person. How do I choose a book? Sometimes it's the cover, sometimes it's the title. I guess I'm pretty visual. If a book's really impressing me and the writing is really good, I will peek and see what the last paragraph is.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
All right, we good now? All right, welcome back. I know y'all miss me. Look, I'm excited about this show today. But, you know, before I start every show, I just wanted to give a couple of quick announcements. So I've been doing these training assessments on a monthly basis. So for those of you guys who are, you know, you have been probably working out at home, you've probably been working out in the gym, and you haven't really seen the results that you're looking for. So I have a monthly training assessments that I'm offering to you. So how that works is I will look at your current training regimen, and I'll give you some feedback, some things that you can add, some things that you can take away from the workouts that would increase the intensity of it. Kind of assess your plans and where you want to be in terms of results and things of that nature. And that's also coupled with your daily diet journal assessments as well. So you and I will correspond every day. I'll look at what you're eating, make some recommendations of things you can add to it and take away from it, so that you can meet your goal. So I wanted to announce that and let you guys know that I'm currently offering that service to you. And if you are interested, again, you see my name in the back. So it's darrellwhite.crs@gmail.com. Shoot me an email if that's something that you may be interested in. And I definitely will be equally as interested to help you out to meet those goals. The second thing, if you guys are interested in seminars, workshops, conferences, speaking engagements on anything that I speak on from now to the future or what I touched on last week, send me an email as well. And I hope that I can help you out in that regard. Every Sunday, I have the football endurance and skills training for your young athletes. All ages are accepted. Now the field locations vary, so you will have to send me an email. We usually start at 2 o'clock and run until 4 o'clock. Today we were at Poly, getting a good workout in. So if you have a young athlete and he wants to refine his skill set, running backs, defensive backs, wide receiver types, then I'm extending that service to you free of charge as well. Last but not least, we have the Bible studies every Monday via conference call at 9 p.m. every Monday. Last week we started a study that was extension of the topic that we hit on last week. What does the Bible say about low self-esteem? So that's every Monday at 9. The conference call number is 605-472-5202. Access code 800-955. And I will post this. Hopefully you all are connected with me on the Conflict Resolution Show on Facebook. If you are not, then please, please, please like the page and share this message. So, again, I'm Coach White, your holistic personal trainer. I'm very excited about tonight, but let me put to bed last week. If you guys didn't have an opportunity to see the show last week, we talked about intrapersonal conflicts, youth females in music. It was a really great topic. I had Brother Marvin McKinstry on with me, a dear friend of mine. We've been working together for many, many years. And I had Sister Danielle on as well. And we dug into that topic. We were discussing Kanye West lyrics to the song I Love It. We had an opportunity to break the lyrics down. I posted some questions on the Conflict Resolution Show on Facebook. If you haven't had a chance to look at that poll, there's some questions on there that were right on point with what we discussed. So very fun time we had, but I'm transitioning into the show tonight. So this show is all about conflict resolution. So we provide a conflict and we provide the resolution as well at the end of the show. I'm very excited. I have my sister, Minister Twanda Prioleau, on today, and Brother Dominick, Nell, really good friend of mine. We come up together. He's a big instrumental person in our society, in our Baltimore City community, who promotes the urban farms. So he's doing really big things. So I'm looking to have him on from 8 to 9. And so look, we're going to get into this thing. And thank you for joining me. So the topic for tonight, societal conflict, diet. We're going to be talking about lifestyle and health, and how all those three are intertwined. And I did a lot of research on this topic last night, and I hope that you hear a common trend in what I'm going to share with you tonight so that you can make some decisions, to make some changes. I hope you find self-motivation. And I always like to begin by giving you my objectives. So number one, I want to educate you tonight. I hope that this show, because it is Sundays at 7, that you would take this opportunity as you are breaking bread with your families. Hopefully we're getting back to that. You guys are tuning into the show and using this as that type of opportunity to have these conversations with the youth, because it is all about the youth. They are the future, and they need to be empowered by us as their parents. So my objective, number one, is to educate the viewers about diets and lifestyle that are most prone to have a negative impact on your overall health. And then the adverse. We're going to talk about diets and lifestyles that are most prone to positively impact your overall health. So I hope that you would take heed to the information that you're given. Again, find self-motivation and discipline yourself to change your diet and your lifestyle immediately. I'm empowering you tonight. I'm giving you information. So it's all about not just receiving the information, but what you will do with the information once you get it. So like always, my first target is always the youth and parents of youth. So I like to begin by giving you a little spill about my diet. So about 3 years ago now, a little more than 3 years, my life changed for the better. And I was eating these foods that were making me really, really sleepy. So raise your hand. I can see you. Raise your hand if you have eaten something that put you right to sleep. And I kept wondering to myself, I said, self, why are you so tired? Calories are supposed to be the measurement of energy. When I eat things, I'm supposed to be energized, revitalized, but quite the contrary. So I'm eating and I'm falling right to sleep. I'm irritable. I'm angry. I want to go to sleep, and if I can't go to sleep, people are bothering me. My sensitivities are heightened. So I had to do some research and find out why it is I'm so tired after I eat. So the first thing I did, shout out to Food Inc. I'm a big Netflix fan. If you are not, then I'm sorry to hear that. But I'm a big Netflix fan. So I watched 2 documentaries. The first one was Food Inc. So I watched it. My mouth was open. I didn't move. The second one was called Food Choices. So I watched that. I took my mental notes. I compared and contrasted both documentaries. And I said, I got it. I said, what I need to do right now is I need to cut this meat out. So the irony is it was around Thanksgiving. So my wife at the time had bought all this food. Real happy about what she bought. And yeah, well, aren't you going to eat this? Or aren't you going to eat that? Da, da, da. I had no knowledge at all. I had watched these documentaries and did my homework. But one thing people know about me, and if you're tuning in, you've been knowing me for some time, you know, once I commit to something, it's over. I'm like that kind of guy. I'm not going to do something progressively. I'm going to cut it out automatically. So I said, well, I'm not eating meat anymore. That's it. And let me back up a little bit. So my mom, shout out to Violet White, my first queen. When I was 9, I probably had my last piece of pork, right? So we were eating chicken, we were eating turkey, and we were eating beef and seafood. I stopped eating beef at some point when I reached high school. And I remember going back to it after some time, and it destroyed my stomach. Like it literally destroyed my stomach, and I couldn't eat it anymore. So I had paid attention to my body, and I said, you know what, I'm not gonna go back to beef. So I'll just stick to chicken, and I'm thinking I'm doing something good. I'll stick with chicken. I'll eat the turkey, and I'll eat the seafood. So for a very long time, that's what I was eating. I got to a point where I'm trying to think what was next. I cut out chicken. I cut out fried food, and this is over time, because I did a little research, and I really wanted to get away from the fried food because I knew the kind of impact it would have on cholesterol and things of that nature. So the only thing I really had left was turkey and seafood. And I wasn't big on turkey, right? I'll get turkey at Thanksgiving, or I had turkey sandwiches. Shout out to Coach T, because he and I were big fans of turkey burgers, right? So we would eat these turkey burgers, and they were good. They were good. But I'm telling you, when I saw those documentaries, I cut out the turkey and the seafood immediately. And then I cut out the dairy immediately. So I went right to raw foods. Was eating a lot of salads, a lot of fruits, a lot of vegetables, and I wasn't drinking anything but water and smoothies. Now here's a quick smoothie story. So I went to Burger King one day and I had their smoothie and I got sleepy again. So I said, what is it? Now I'm sleepy, so I knew everything, and I introduced the journal assessments on purpose, because what I started doing in my discipline, I started writing down everything that I ate and how I felt as a result of what I ate. So 15 minutes later, I'm very fatigued, so I knew that I couldn't go back to that smoothie. But I did go to Safeway and buy the frozen smoothies, and I started drinking those, and I felt completely different. I felt energized. So I got a lot of energy, and as soon as I could clearly identify the things in my journal that provided the energy that I needed, I just stuck to it. So that's what I pretty much did on my end. I did my homework. We're going to get back into this a little deeper. I'm going to invite Sister Twanda on. She's going to share her story. But stay tuned. We'll be right back. Here.
You are tuned in to BeExposedRadio.com.
So we were talking about critical thinking. So we definitely believe that critical thinking is one of the first things we need to start implementing, not just simply being told things. Or how about this? You know, we tend to listen to people who get assigned certain positions. Right. You get what I'm saying? So when they have certain positions, we tend to think that it's truth attached to that because of their position, right? Right. Is that always the case, though?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
It's probably one of the biggest reasons we should be doing some critical thinking.
Yes, I agree. I definitely.
Hi, I'm LeVar Burton, and I'm proud to be a book person. How do I choose a book? Sometimes it's the cover, sometimes it's the title. I guess I'm pretty visual. If a book's really impressing me and the writing is really good, I will peek and see what the last paragraph is, because the endings of books should rock you. I am a book person, and if you're a book person too, read to a child and spark a lifetime of ambition. Join me at bookpeopleunite.org, because reading is fundamental. A public service announcement brought to you by Reading is Fundamental, Library of Congress, and the Ad Council.
Green light. Hey girl, school zone. I'm getting hungry. Car changing lanes. You want to meet me for pizza? Stop sign. Intersection clear. Yeah, street. Pizza sounds good. Ballin Street? Girlin Street!
It's hard to concentrate on two things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wrecks. How will you stop texting and driving? Tell us at stoptextstopwrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Well, Jason, I've got to tell you, you're pretty much everything this company is looking for in an entry-level candidate.
Great.
Your resume isn't quite what we're used to, but you've got a fantastic work ethic.
Thank you.
And I'm impressed by how you carry yourself.
So, should we talk about the job?
What? The job? Oh, sorry. Yeah, I have no way of recruiting or even meeting you. This interview didn't happen.
It may sound ridiculous, and that's because it kind of is. There's a huge pool of talent your company is missing out on. Meet the grads of life. Who are they? Talent worth knowing about. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or even mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
Man, we really could have used him.
Don't miss out on a resource many innovative companies have already discovered. Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
My name is Ruth Rusey. I'm a retired teacher. I'm 91 years old, and this is how I live United. I say retired, but not really. Once a week, I read books to children as part of United Way's education program. Reading to a child creates links between language and literacy. It creates a bond between grown-up and child. And believe it or not, it prepares them for a better academic future. Oh, we read about frogs and flies and pigs with wings, all sorts of juicy stuff. It's a joy to watch all those little faces. I figure I have the time and they have the need. And I've always believed that if we're not here to help each other, then what are we here for really? My name is Ruth Rusey. I help kids prepare to succeed in school. So I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
Give, advocate, volunteer, live united. Go.
We're rewarding you for something you already do, listening to us. It's Radio Loyalty, and it's an easy way for you to get free stuff. All you do is sign up. Go ahead and click the banner now. You'll earn points as you listen. Points you can trade in for great products and services in the Radio Loyalty store. You can earn even more points when you share your favorite station with friends on Facebook and Twitter. Radio Loyalty. It's free to sign up, so click the banner to join now.
Keyboard Cat, Hamilton the Pug, and Toast Meets World. These are some of the internet's most beloved pets. With millions of YouTube views, shares, Instagram likes, followers, and fans across the globe. But what do all these amazing pets have in common? Their stories started in a shelter. Start your story. Adopt a dog or cat today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a shelter or adoptable pets near you. Training that pet to play the keyboard? Well, that's entirely up to you. Visit theshelterpetproject.org and hear more about Hamilton the Pug, Toast, and Keyboard Cat's amazing adoption stories. Start a story. Adopt a shelter or rescue pet today. Your perfect pet is just a click away at theshelterpetproject.org. A public service announcement brought to you by Maddie's Fund.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Yes, I want to hit on something as I wrap up my story. But in order to do that, I'm going to do something a little different because I could come back to that. I'm going to give you guys an analogy, parable sort of thing. So look, follow me. Here we go. A man was walking down Dye Street. And for many years, he and his family had been traveling this road in hopes to live their best life. Uncle died from complications with diabetes. Father died young from heart disease. Grandmother died from colon cancer. And his grandfather died from a stroke. On this road were all things that they were accustomed to. Chicken boxes, half and halves, pizzas, subs, fries, burgers, sodas, alcohol, chips, etc. One day, he met a doctor on this road, and he told him that if he continued on the same path, he would become diabetic. So the doctor showed him another road that he could travel called Life Street that could significantly decrease his chances of becoming diabetic. And on this street were all the things that he wasn't accustomed to. Kale, squash, spinach, chickpeas, organic fruits, water, greens, etc. The doctor told him that his decision could impact the future generations of his family. The man told the doctor, "Although I appreciate the advice, Doc, I could get hit by a car walking on either street and die." The doctor said, "That's true, but you can't control the person driving the car. You can't even control whether you'll live or die after you get hit. But you can control which street you choose to walk on." The man said, "That's true, but walking on Life Street is way too expensive. I can't afford that." The doctor said, "Life Street is much more affordable than the medical bills that you'll pay on Dye Street once you become diabetic." The man walked away from the doctor, continued on Dye Street, and eventually died due to complications with diabetes. And his sons walked the same road. So, the moral of the story is this: if we keep doing the same things, we'll keep getting the same results. We keep making excuses, but pay attention to your investments. We'll buy $30,000 cars that depreciate in value as soon as we take it off the lot. But we won't make the necessary change to invest in the future generations of our families. We're so comfortable with rationalizing our decisions by saying things like, I can eat right and get hit by a car, focusing on things that you can't control. But here's the other problem with that statement. You're still thinking about you. You're not thinking about your family. So that's the mindset that we have, Sister Twanda. And it's just a shame, but that's why we're here. We're here to give information. You have such a powerful story. Welcome to the show. I'm so glad that you can accommodate me on such short notice. You are my sister. We've been knowing each other for years.
A long time.
Man. So yes. I just want to again, thank you. I'm smiling from ear to ear because I know how great your story is, and I didn't even get all of it. And I just see the transformation. You are glowing. You look fabulous. And I'm just excited to have you.
It's good to be here with you. It's good to be here with you. I think we have a long history when it comes to taking care of our body. At least our conversations.
Absolutely, absolutely. So without further ado, I'm going to get right into this. So tell me first, anything that you want to share, but specifically, if you can work your way back to telling me, where were you at your heaviest? What was your heaviest weight that you came to?
Okay, my heaviest weight that I came to was 230 pounds. I don't even want to say it. Right?
Wow.
But it was 230 pounds. I found myself over the last 7 years just creeping up. And we always say that we're going to do something. And next thing I know, I stepped on the scale in my doctor's office and I was 230 pounds.
Wow. For now. Let me put you on pause for 1 second. Are we good in the back? Can you hear clear? Okay. Y'all bear with me 1 second. We're going to get this together. Is that on?
It's on.
Yeah, it's showing on our end. Do we need to make an adjustment? All right, let's try adjusting your mic up a little bit.
Okay, I did it. Can you hear me?
Can you hear now?
Better?
A little better, but not. Okay, so we'll go ahead and continue. So, Sister Twanda was sharing with us that her heaviest weight before she started her journey was 230.
My heaviest weight was 230 pounds.
Okay.
Yeah.
And can everybody hear clear now? We good? Okay. All right. So go ahead, Sister T.
Okay. So my heaviest weight was 230 pounds, and I want to share this. I'm glad you did what you call your parable. That you started off with, because mine's kind of started, creeping up, and getting to the point where I was borderline diabetic. And my doctor said to me, not one time.
Okay, we want to pause for a second. Let's make this adjustment real quick.
Okay, just keep talking. Okay, so my doctor said to me, not once, but twice during one of our doctor visits, and she said, "Well, your weight is going up. Your cholesterol numbers are off. Never really had high blood pressure. My blood pressure has always been stable, but that was kind of creeping just a little, not much." And she said something to me that was right profound, and that was, "If you don't take care of your heart, I will." So what that means is, if I didn't do anything about my health, like if I wasn't proactive, then she was going to be proactive, and that meant medication.
Yes.
Because we know what the doctor is going to do. They're going to put you on medication.
Yep.
Right. And so if I can kind of continue with my story.
Okay.
And so I didn't necessarily at that point really heed to the doctor. I knew that I needed to do something, but change is not easy.
Okay.
You know, change is not easy. Anytime we go to change something, we just don't wake up all of a sudden and we just change. Change is not easy.
Okay.
And so my doctor said that.
So before you continue, let's go to a quick break.
Okay.
And then we're going to pick up where you left off when we get back.
All right, thank you.
All right. Stay tuned.
You use Tearless Baby Shampoo because it's gentle on your baby's eyes. You make sure his toys don't have any sharp edges. You always test the bathwater to make sure it's not too hot. You taught her what to do when the smoke alarm goes off. You make sure she wears a helmet when she rides her bicycle. You put on his sunscreen, even when he's embarrassed his friends will see. You do so much to keep your child safe. But are you using the right car seat for your child? Is your child facing the right way in the car seat? Is the seat too big or too small? How do you know when it's time to move your child into the next type of seat? Car crashes are a leading killer of children ages 1 to 13. Protect your child's future at every stage of life. For information on the right seat for your child, visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat. That's safercar.gov/the-right-seat.
A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Why is Connor having trouble focusing in school?
Having trouble finding Connor's middle school? Would you like directions?
No, why is Connor having trouble focusing in...
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
We're here with Sister Twanda. We're blessed to have you, and I'm going to allow her to get right back into her story. So you go ahead and continue.
It's good to be here. As I was saying, that my doctor had kind of gave me this charge that if I didn't take care of my health, that she was going to take care of it for me. So that meant going on medication.
Okay.
And so I didn't really change right away. I kind of took that information and put it in the back of my head. I know I needed to make a change, but it wasn't until one day that I was making a hospital visit, and I almost passed out in the hospital.
Wow.
And that was because of exhaustion, getting tired, exhaustion. And I believe that when we are carrying a lot of weight, I believe that when we overeat, that it's an indication of some other areas in our lives. And I know you might not be talking about that on this segment, but I think that it's an indication. Sometimes people overeat, and people when they're gaining weight, sometimes we're covering up some other things that's going. So yes. Eating becomes a coping mechanism for us.
Yes.
And so so that happened, and I know I needed that. That was an overnight stay in the hospital, and then that November, right before Thanksgiving, my sister-in-law and I had a doctor's appointment around the same time.
Okay.
Right, the week before Thanksgiving, right at the heaviest time when people are eating and overeating and indulging and saying, I'll wait till January to change my lifestyle. So my sister and I had separate doctor's appointment, and she came to me and she said, hey, my doctor want me to lose weight. And she said, have I tried Weight Watchers? And I said to her, I said, hey, my doctor is saying the same thing. Let's do it together.
Okay.
And so the Monday before Thanksgiving, we started Weight Watchers.
Awesome.
And so my sister-in-law and I, we did it for a couple of months until we got to the point that we had the practices that we needed in order to do it on our own. So our weight has started to come off. Okay. But we did it for a couple of months, and then when we felt like, hey, we kind of got this. We know what it is that we need to do. We know we need certain things that we need to cut out. Yeah. We need more fruits and vegetables and water and all that kind of stuff in our diet. So we just decided to kind of do it on our own. And so that's what we did. And just gradually, the weight began to actually come off. But let me just say this.
Go ahead.
And that is, getting fit, and people need to understand this, is more than a body transformation. A lot of times we want the outside. We want to be small as women. We want this perfect body. We want this black dress that we can fit into. But getting fit is more. It's more than a body transformation.
Yeah.
Because for me, the change was not only an outside change, the change was an inside change.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I realized that I needed to change my mindset as well. And it wasn't only about what I put in my mouth.
Yeah.
It wasn't only about me exercising, right? It was about a mind shift. You change the mind, you change your life.
Yeah.
right? Yeah. You change your mind, you change your life. Yeah. And so once I started incorporating the mind, body, and spirit is really when not only was I transforming on the outside, I was transforming on the inside. And when you transform on the outside, when you transform the inside, that's when your exercise and your diet becomes successful.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people who's overweight, they've tried it before.
Yeah.
They've been there before. You hear a lot of people say that. I've done it before. I've tried it before.
Yeah.
But when you transform that mind, and I like the exercise regimen that I'm doing now. I'm actually with MBS Fitness Lab, and with MBS Fitness Lab through Monty Saunders, his mantra is mind, body, and spirit.
That's right.
And so one thing I like about that is because we're not only exercising our body, we're exercising our mind, we're exercising our body, and we're exercising our spirit. It's a total transformation. I mean, when we come in the morning, he had praise music on, encouraging words all the time. I mean, we go hard for about an hour, and then at the end, he gives us something that we can carry for the rest of our day.
Awesome.
And that's what it's about, right?
Yeah.
So it's not only about what I eat. It's not only about what I put in my body.
Yeah.
It's about what I put in my mind, how I'm feeding my mind, and it's about how I'm feeding my spirit.
That's right. That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, shout out to, what's the name of it again?
MBS Fitness Lab.
Shout out to MBS Fitness Lab.
Yes.
Doing y'all thing. Absolutely. So, you talked a little bit about being borderline, did you say diabetic?
Borderline diabetic.
Okay, okay. So, how long did it take for you to meet your fitness goal? Or are you still in the process? Or is it lifestyle?
That's what I was getting ready to say. It's a lifestyle.
That's right.
And I'm not going to say, well, yeah, it's a lifestyle.
Okay.
Exercising and eating right, you have to make it a lifestyle.
Yeah.
You have to. And you can't say, you know, some people say, well, you know what, I'm just going to eat this for today. You know, I mean, and it works for some people, but that doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. It doesn't work for me. It has to be a lifestyle change.
Yes, yes, I agree with you wholeheartedly. And that's one part that I wanted people to pay attention to in the parable was the fact that the doctor said, or alluded to, this is something that you can do that's going to impact the future generations of your family.
Yes.
If you just make this change now.
Yes.
So
you will be surprised that you mentioned chickpeas.
Yeah.
Right. I like taking the chickpeas and put them in the oven and put a little seasoning on them. We stick them in the oven and then it becomes a snack. And you'd be surprised that when you start doing that, that your grandkids, you know, because my kids are, you know, in their 20s, mid and late 20s. And so they're going to make a change for themselves. Right. But the grandkids, I mean, my grandkids will say stuff to me like, is that healthy, Gammy?
Nice.
Right? Gammy, is that healthy? Or and especially my grandson who is who's 10, my grandson would say, is that healthy? He asks us that all the time. And then he see me exercising, see his mom exercising. And so he'll say, okay, all right, we going to the gym. Wow. And so the kids start doing stuff other than being sedentary, sitting down, doing the video games. You know, our kids want to get up. My husband and I, we have the kids over on Sundays. My grandson and my granddaughter, when we have them over, we get up and we dance with them.
Nice.
We got the music on and we dance around the living room with them. We're exercising.
That's right. That's right. That's right. And it's fun.
And it's fun.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And it's something that they'll carry on and they'll pass that thing on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So what is your what would you say your greatest accomplishment was during this transformation period? Is there anything that comes to mind in particular?
My greatest accomplishment, you know, I would say I would say fitting in that certain size dress.
Okay.
or fitting in a certain size pair of pants or something like that. But you know what? I'm not going to say that. I think my greatest accomplishment during this transformation is seeing my family get on board.
Wow.
That would be my greatest accomplishment.
Yeah.
Because during the summertime, I was off for 3 months. And during those 3 months, for me, it was all about self-care. Okay. And my kids started jumping on board. My husband started jumping on board. And it became all about what we could do to take care of ourselves. Yeah. So to me, my greatest accomplishment will be seeing how what I do impact others. If what I do can make a difference in somebody else's life, right? It's not about the size that I wear. Yeah. You know, it's not. It's about a whole body, a whole transformation. And if I can get somebody say to me, you know what, I heard your story and it made me do this. Yeah. You know, I saw your story and it's making me think about exercising and eating right. I wanted to say this too. Shoot. I have this hashtag that I put on Facebook called I Decided to Live. Every post I put on there, I decided to live. Yeah. Because I think every day we have to make a decision to live. Yeah. Every day. Yeah. You got to make a decision to live. Yeah. And so every day for me to put something out there to say I decided to live, not only I'm making a decision to live, but I'm making a decision also to make an impact on somebody else's life.
That's powerful. That's powerful. And I think about, as you were talking, I was thinking about when I make a decision to live, I also, even though we agree that diet is just a small part of a bigger picture.
Yes.
Whatever I eat has to be a part of that equation, because I can make a decision to live based upon what I put on my plate.
Yes. Yes.
Right?
Yes, exactly. Yes.
So
exactly.
Yeah,
and you talked about that.
Yeah.
Right? You talked about because food has an impact on how you feel.
Oh my God.
Oh, you said that.
Yeah.
It has an impact on how you feel. Yeah. You go to conferences and after the conference, you know, we go to a conference and then after lunch, you know, the presenter always say, okay, you know what, let's stand up, because I know everybody has had, you know, a lunch and everybody getting tired. But you know, one thing I found out is that if I go to a conference and I'm not eating this big lunch, right, I'm attentive in the afternoon. Yeah. I can grasp the information more in the afternoon. But you're right. Yeah. You have to decide to live in all areas of your life. Right? Every day you make a conscious decision.
Let me tell you something that's powerful that you said to me, and you probably forgot. Maybe you didn't. You told me stewardship is everything. I was so focused on one particular thing. When we hear in the church community,
I remember that conversation. Yes.
In the church community, when we hear stewardship, we immediately think about money. But what I learned from you is stewardship is everything. So when it comes to taking care of this temple, it's stewardship.
It's stewardship.
Yeah.
I remember that conversation. Yeah. I remember us talking about that.
Yeah.
That stewardship is not only about money. It's how we being a good steward over everything that God has entrusted to us.
That's right.
Everything that God has given to us. Yep. How am I being a good steward over my relationships?
Yep.
How am I being a good steward over my finances? Yep. How am I being a good steward over my temple? How am I being a good steward over my mind? How am I being a good steward over my spirit?
Yes.
How am I being a good steward over what I consume and actually put in my body?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's everything.
Yeah, that's key. That's key. So what would you tell, you looking back at Twanda at age 17, what would you tell her now that would impact her at age 17?
Wow. Oh my gosh. My 17-year-old self, I would say a lot of things to my 17-year-old self. I'm 54. Let me put that out there. Yeah. Right? Yeah. So you asking me to look, you know, way back. Way back. But my 17-year-old self.
Yeah, diet and lifestyle.
What would you diet and lifestyle. at my 17-year-old self, I would say stick to it.
Okay.
No matter what you do, stick to it. And the reason why I said that is because I went into the military after high school.
Okay.
And when I went into the military, I was already running 3 miles.
Mm.
I was already running 3 miles. I had already started, you know, changing my diet.
Yeah.
Because I knew that I was going in. And so when I went in, I was already in a good shape. But, you know, life happens. Yeah. And when life happens, we go away from some practices that we have put in our lives.
Yeah.
So as far as diet and exercise, I would say stick to it. Stick to it, girl. It might get hard, right? You might have some bumps in the road, but stick to it. Stick to it.
Yeah.
Because had I stuck to it at 17, oh my gosh, where I would be at 54.
Yeah.
But I thank God for 54.
Absolutely.
Because the lessons that I've learned from 17 to 54, you know, got me where I am right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's outstanding.
But as far as diet and exercise, I would say stick to it. I would say watch what you eat. Stick to it.
Yeah, that's powerful. I hope that people listening at your dinner tables, and thank you for inviting us into your home. I hope that you take heed to what you're hearing. And we're going to dig into this a little deeper as well. I have some articles, some information from some articles I want to share and get your feedback.
Okay.
So the first one was very shocking to me, because when we hear about Baltimore City, we think about violence. We think about The Wire. We think about The Corner. We think about all those negative things, right? I looked at the leading causes of death in Baltimore City 2017. The top 3, to my surprise, was not homicide or anything like that. It was heart disease, it was strokes, and it was cancer. Top 3. So what I did in my research was looked at all of the foods that cause cancer. What foods in our diet cause stroke? What foods in our diet cause heart disease? And I came up with some information I want to share. But before I do, and this information is coming from www.health.baltimorecity.gov. State of Health in Baltimore, 2017. It says, in Baltimore City, 1 in 3 high school students is either obese or overweight. 1 in 4 high school students drinks 1 or more regular sodas every day, while less than half eat 1 or more servings of vegetables a day. Less than half of middle school students eat breakfast on a daily basis. And this is from that report. So I'm going to read this real quick. We're going to go to a break pretty soon. This is also something I pulled from health.harvard.edu. In fact, I'm going to hold it because this is real juicy. And we got to hear this, and we got to take our time and pick this apart. Any thoughts before we go on the break?
Yeah, the first thing that came to my mind when you said that is this is a systemic issue.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
This issue is deep.
Yeah.
Because it has to do with, you're talking about Baltimore City, and it has to do with what our people have access to.
Yeah.
When it comes to the food that they actually put into their bodies. And I know you got to take a break.
Yeah.
So
that's
we're going
right.
to come back to that one.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll be right back. Stay tuned. Yeah.
That's a deep issue.
Only in the forest can you see this. But nothing beats the moment you see that.
Cool!
That's your child's eyes opening up to a world of possibilities.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org. Learn about forests near you and discover cool things to do when you go. And you might just see this. Visit discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
My name is Ruth Rusey. I'm a retired teacher. I'm 91 years old, and this is how I live United. I say retired, but not really. Once a week, I read books to children as part of United Way's education program. Reading to a child creates links between language and literacy. It creates a bond between grown-up and child. And believe it or not, it prepares them for a better academic future. Oh, we read about frogs and flies and pigs with wings, all sorts of juicy stuff. It's a joy to watch all those little faces. I figure I have the time and they have the need. And I've always believed that if we're not here to help each other, then what are we here for really? My name is Ruth Rusey. I help kids prepare to succeed in school. So I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
Give, advocate, volunteer, Live United. Go to liveunited.org. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
My name is Meera Batra. I have been in this country 32 years, and this is how I live united. America has always been the land of promise, and in my community, many families have come for a better life. Coming from another culture myself, I know the desire to become part of a community, to feel at home, and to gain the tools for our children and families to succeed. So I advocate for these families with United Way. United Way empowers them to look beyond their histories and to see what opportunities are available. We help them get involved with their kids' schools, network within the community, and when we do, we unite them. We make the community stronger. What I do is something I wish someone had done for me, and I am so grateful I am able to. My name is Meera Batra. I help families see opportunities and succeed. I don't just wear the shirt.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead. Continue what you
now
going.
my thing is I don't multitask. Like, no, I can't do a couple things all at one time.
Yeah.
Because I think our society has brought into this thing that I can have all of these balls up in the air and it's okay. Because in the 80s, it was good to put that on your resume that I can multitask. And now my whole thing is, no, I can't multitask. One thing at a time. Maybe it's age. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, which brings us to the point. We were talking about the high school students and their diets, and if my diet is not right, how can I focus in school? And I know this has many layers to it.
It does.
And you were kind of hitting on, how deep it is, and how some kids only have access to those
They only have access to the chicken boxes and the half and half and the convenience store. And
so how can I win?
Because we don't have, markets are just, when it comes to, the inner city in Baltimore City. And I was telling you that I asked my husband to stop on 25th and Howard at the Giant that actually used to be there, and he came. I'm not sure if it's Howard, but he came back and said, that Giant is not there. Like in the inner city, a lot of our people, and I'm talking about the African American community, they don't have access to fresh fruits and vegetables and stuff that we're talking about that will make people healthy. And which is sad. So they what they have is the chicken box on the corner, right? And sometimes the chicken box is a cheaper way to feed their family. I can go down and get a chicken box, but that's a whole another segment. I think when it comes to conflict resolution, that you do a whole show on that.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure.
Right.
Yeah, and it's a good point. It's not out of context at all, but I know that for sure. As I looked at all the information that I have about this topic, we probably going to be right back here next week talking about the same thing. So I know we're going. This is the shorter part before we get into the next break. The next part is so lengthy. I'm afraid to even get into it.
Right, I understand.
Because
right.
So when we come back, I'm gonna let you close this segment. With anything that you want to provide to our listeners. But when we come back, we're going to look at this research from Harvard Medical School about the foods that we should avoid that are either causing cancer, strokes, or heart disease. So we're gonna get into that. So, any encouraging words you want to leave, our viewing audience?
I want to leave you with this word: take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Nobody can take care of you like you, and especially in my profession, we give ourselves away a lot. We give ourselves away a lot. We are there for people a lot, and you can't give self if you don't have self. So take care of yourself, and I want to encourage you: mind, body, and spirit. It's about a holistic approach to transforming yourself from the inside out.
Wow, that's a lot, and that's a little, but it's a lot to take in, and I hope that people really take that seriously, because we got to eat to live.
That's right.
I was talking about,
and many people live to eat.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and that's for real. That's for real. I was as I was doing my research, I said I was talking about, that's the wrong preface. As I was doing my research, I remembered there was a documentary that I didn't see that I wanted to see called Eating You Alive.
Wow.
It's called Eating You Alive, and I think the host is Samuel L. Jackson, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow.
And he's digging, it's right on the lines of the documentaries that I watched, but he's talking specifically less about the corporate influence on markets and fast foods and things of that nature. He's talking literally about some of the things I'm going to jump into. The foods that we eat that are eating us over time.
Wow. Wow.
And if you haven't seen that, then we got to see that. We got about 2 minutes and we're going to close. I just find it fascinating. And I ask myself, if I am that inner city person, or a person that lives in the inner city, and and I fit the caliber of a person that the chicken boxes are right at my convenience, and I can go put some slippers on and walk right down Greenmount Avenue and grab it and come right back home. How do I win? Because it almost seems like it's a setup for failure. I guess the only thing that I would, if we're eating to live, then we have to love ourselves enough to go out to those farmers markets and stock up if we can. We got to love ourselves enough if we can to save the money that we need, so that we can buy the foods that would impact our families. Would you say anything different to that? What's your thought?
That's a whole nother show, because what came to my mind when you said that is, what if I don't have the transportation to get there?
Okay.
And I'm not throwing an excuse. I'm just talking about real life.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the struggle that people have. What if I don't have the transportation to get to a farmer's market so that I can stock up and put this stuff in my refrigerator?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a whole nother show, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm throwing something in there.
Yeah, no, and that's fine. It's in context, but I just want to thank you. I know we great. Go to a break in about 15 seconds. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
For being here. Your story is phenomenal. And again, I just hope that people take heed. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. And we're going to have Brother Dominick Nell come on and talk about his urban farm. Please stay tuned.
Join the Just a Bit Outside crew every Monday, 8 to 10 p.m. on BeExposedRadio.com.
You want to start off?
I think I'll get it out of the way on a who's not.
Okay, do it.
The Orioles.
Right.
They got swept by the Royals. They lost 4 in a row, and the last 5 games have all been decided by 1 run.
Mm-hmm.
The game before, or the last game that they lost before the Royals was the Nationals, and it was Weeders, of course, won with a home run.
Hit the home run.
Right. They were going into that National series. It seemed like they were doing so well, and just they just crapped out. They got that game postponed, so who knows when they're going to replay that or play that game. That's my first not for the night.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and weigh in on my who's not, and I'm going to talk about the San Diego Padres.
The Padres. That's okay. You just took my answer.
They're in last place in the NL West. They've lost 8 of their last 10. Their run differential is a negative 65, which is just horrible. So when you have well, let me just talk about run differential a little bit. It's kind of like the
how much you're winning or losing your games by, pretty much.
Yeah. Okay. It's like the margin of victory, kind of.
Right.
So when you're in a negative number, that means that you're.
Then your average game you're losing
by a whole lot.
Right.
I mean, a number like negative 65, this early into the season is pretty rough.
That's horrible.
Then the pitching numbers pretty much support this stat right here. I mean, the team ERA is 4.70, which is 26th in the league. They have 126 walks allowed. They acquired Jared Weaver in the offseason, and he really has not panned out. He's off to one of the worst starts in any of the pitchers in 2017. He's 0-4 with a 6.05 ERA. In May alone, he already has 12 earned runs in May. And, another one of their pitchers, Clayton Richard, he's 2-4 with a 4.34 ERA. And, in May, he has 6 earned runs and 12 innings pitched. So they're not pitching well. And on top of that, they are also not batting well.
Right. But it kind of sucks because Manuel Margot is doing pretty good. His the past few at bats, his last.
Join the Just a Bit Outside crew every Monday 8 to 10 p.m. on BeExposedRadio.com.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
So again, I am your host, Coach White, your holistic, get this in, personal trainer, where we have redefined personal training and conflicts are resolved. So we're talking about societal conflict. We're talking about health. We're talking about diet and lifestyle. So I did some homework for you guys that I want to share before we have Brother Dominick Nell come on representing the urban farms. Here's some research from Harvard. And again, this is, if you want to check out health.harvard.edu. I asked myself this question as I was doing my research: which foods contribute to heart disease? Which foods contribute to heart disease? And on the site, the information mentioned to avoid these foods for a healthier heart. Number 1, processed foods. Hot dogs, bacon, sausage, salami, other deli meats, including deli ham, turkey, bologna, and chicken. So why does it harm the heart? And according to the research, it says it's likely that the high levels of salt and preservatives found in processed meats are part of the problem. Number 2, highly refined and processed grains and carbohydrate. Why it harms the heart? Refined or processed foods include white bread, white rice, low fiber breakfast cereals, sweets and sugars, and other refined or processed carbohydrates. So why aren't these foods healthy? First, high levels of processing remove many of the most helpful components in whole grains. Second, high levels of processing destroy the food's natural structure. And third, processing often adds many ingredients that are less healthy. Fourth, some research shows that fructose is metabolized differently than other sugars in a way that increases the liver's production of new fat. Number 3, soft drinks and other sugary drinks are also on the list. Why? Why does this harm the heart? Sugary drinks have all the same ill effects of the on the heart as highly refined and processed carbohydrates. Sugary drinks also increase your chances of weight gain. So that concludes the research from Harvard on that particular topic. So then I moved along to cancer. And again, what I want you to understand are my efforts to connect the dots. So the number 3 killers for us in Baltimore City in 2017 were heart disease, cancer, and strokes. So here's what I found through cancercenter.com. That's www.cancercenter.com. This is about the foods that contribute to cancer. Number 1, you ready for this? Alcohol. When the body metabolizes alcohol, it produces a chemical compound that may damage DNA, which may lead to cancer. Research has found that the more alcohol you drink, the higher your risk for developing certain kinds of cancer, such as head and neck cancer, esophageal cancer, liver cancer, breast cancer, and colorectal cancers. Number 2, common theme, processed meats. Examples include bacon, sausage, hot dogs, pepperoni, salami. Now we just discussed processed meats as it pertains to heart disease. So listen to the common theme. Number 3, charred meat. So here's your cookout food, right? Meats cooked at high temperatures form chemicals that may cause changes in your DNA, which may lead to cancer. Eating a large amount of well-done, fried, or barbecued meats has been linked to an increased risk of colorectal cancer, pancreatic cancer, and prostate cancer. And last, red meat, beef, veal, pork, lamb. Eating a large amount of red meat has been linked to, again, colorectal cancer, pancreatic cancer, and prostate cancer. Again, I'm arming you tonight. I'm giving you some information, and it's up to you what you do with it. So, moving right along to strokes. Which foods contribute to strokes? So I got this information from foodrevolution.org. The article is titled "The Best and Worst Foods to Prevent Stroke." Number 1. Studies indicate that it is particularly important to reduce your intake of the following foods, which include those with high cholesterol, or foods with high cholesterol, salty foods, and dairy. Number 2, meat. A meta-analysis on meat found a 10% increased risk of stroke associated with each 3.5 ounce daily portion of red, and guess what else? Processed meat. Another factor may be the toxic pollutants that can be or that can build up in animal fats. People with the highest level of these pollutants in their bloodstream increase their odds of stroke by as much as 8 or 9 times. Please hear me and take heed to this. Number 3, diet soda. That's right. Diet soda. I'm going to say that like I never said it before. Diet soda. Research presented at the American Stroke Association's International Stroke Conference showed that people who drink just one diet soda a day may increase their risk of stroke by 48%. 48%. So again, connecting the dots. Baltimore City, highest or the things that caused deaths most in 2017. Not murder, but things that I would deem to be suicide. And the reason why I said that is because as I connect the dots, I see that what we eat contributes to heart disease. What we eat contributes to cancers. What we drink. What we eat contributes to stroke. These are all things that we can control, people. So I hope that you are encouraged. I hope that I have empowered you with the information that you have been provided, and I hope that you can connect the dots because this is a very serious, a very, very serious matter. So now again, my second objective tonight was to give you the adverse. So we talked about the things that are most harmful. So now I'm going to empower you so that you know which things that you can eat that would decrease the chances of you developing cancers, decrease the chances of you developing strokes, decrease the chances of you developing heart diseases. So let's look at strokes first. So according to food revolution expert Michael Greger, MD, the best way to avoid suffering from a stroke, the best way, is to eat a whole food, plant-based diet centered around vegetables, lentils, beans, seeds, whole grains, fruits, and nuts. But to get the full benefits, plant-strong eaters must have a regular, reliable source of B12, meaning B12 fortified foods. Why do plant-based diets lower the risk of stroke? One reason why plant-based diets protect against stroke, according to this research, is due to the fiber found in whole plant foods. Studies find that for every 7 grams of fiber you eat per day, you get nearly a 7% drop in the risk of first-time stroke. Plant foods are also filled with antioxidants. Antioxidant-packed foods help reduce inflammation and prevent plaque buildup in the arteries, and they also improve blood flow. On average, plant foods contain 64 times more antioxidants than animal foods. But you should always strive for a variety of fruits, veggies, herbs, and spices in every meal so you can continuously flood your body with a wide range of antioxidants. What the science says about the best foods to prevent stroke. Nuts, greens, citrus fruits, whole grains, tomatoes, potassium-rich foods, magnesium-rich foods. The list goes on and on. And let me share this with you. I don't want to bore you with research. Some of this information I'll go ahead and post. But what I will share with you is this. I remember as I reflect on my old journey and I think of my own journey and I think about what Sister Twanda shared, I went from, and again, not that I was in it necessarily to lose weight, but when I made my change, I went from 174 to 157 in the course of 30 days. And that's no joke. I went from a body fat percentage that was probably about anywhere from 15 to 17% to 5 to 7%. I went from pant size 34 to a 30. I went from wearing large shirts, large shirts to mediums. And I felt great. Like my energy level, the things that I eat now are warranting me having a lot more energy. And like I said, and like I was alluding to earlier, and if you missed the parable, I hope that you have a moment to go back and review this, because I had to ask myself at points of time, do I have enough energy to engage my kids? Do I have enough energy to do the things that are pleasing to my family? You know, or am I this guy that's separate, that's distant, and I'm frustrated and I'm irritable as a result of what I ate? So if you have not, and we're going to go to the break, and I'm going to bring Brother Dominick in. Dominick, if you're listening, man, hold tight. We got you. I see your message, good brother. This life change is not about you. It is about your family. So I hope you heard that. And I'll say in brief, I had a lot of people who saw me and they said, man, you look like you're dying, or you need to put on more weight, or and they say all these things, but every time they do it, I posted a video. I felt phenomenal. So if you haven't had a chance to connect with me on Instagram, check it out. But I'll give you that information when we get back from break, and we'll have Dominick Nell on from Urban Farm. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
So, Jacqueline.
Yes, Mom?
I wanted to talk to you about something, and... Oh, wait. Hold on. I just got a text. Oh, there's another one. Wow. Busy me. So, anyway...
Oh, wait, Mom. I just got a message. My friends keep commenting on my comment. Oh, there's another one. So many comments on my comment.
Oh, I can't wait to watch TV tonight. Playoffs!
Hey, guys, check out my new video game. Pew, pew. Wait, Mom, what? Huh?
What? Hold
What'd
on.
you say? Wait a second, what?
This weekend, unplug. Take your family to the forest. There's nothing in the world like experiencing nature firsthand. Trees, paths, bluebirds, streams. Getting closer to nature can get you closer to your family. To find the forest nearest you, go to discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Just a Bit Outside radio show.
There is one glaring stat that I read about while watching the games over the weekend. New York Yankees went 22 straight innings with at least one strikeout.
Really?
That's a major league record for the postseason.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's an interesting statistic.
It is, you know, and then when you think about it, it's like, okay, you know, that, to me, that's like a big reason why, you know, they're losing right now.
Whoa. The moment my son saw a redwood tree.
It's huge!
Is the moment I knew that for him,
You can't even see the top of that thing!
even the sky has no limit.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org. Learn about forests near you and discover cool things to do when you go. Your moment is out there. Find it at discovertheforest.org.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Be Exposed Radio.
Well, if you made them, take care of them.
Yeah, that's
Period.
the real. That's the real deal.
It's period.
And all that old money shouldn't go toward this, money should go to, if the child is with one of the parents 24/7, 7 days a week, you don't even come get your child every day. You come get your child once a month maybe, or once every 3 months.
Right.
You cannot dictate where that money goes Especially if the child ain't calling you about nothing. Now, if the child calling you every week, then you might can question about where the child support is going. But if every time you pick up the child, they look nice, they ain't complaining about nothing, why are you worrying about where the money go at?
It is what it is. Radio show.
Driving has a rhythm all its own. Don't wreck it with a text. Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Or better yet, designate a texter. For more text-free driving tips, visit stoptextstoprex.org.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Welcome back, good people. I'm sitting here with my brother Dominick Nell.
What's up, bro?
Urban Farm, right? Promoting the Urban Farms. And I wanted to bring him on again. I apologize for the last minute, but thank you for making yourself available. This is a brother that really, really inspired me with this vegan lifestyle. And I'm just happy to have you on. I've been knowing him for a long time. We go back to high school and football and all that kind of stuff. So just welcome, man. Just want to welcome you and thank you for making yourself available. Wow. So we're going to get right into this, man. So the first question that I have for you is what really motivated you to start your urban farm? What was your motivation?
I always had a real concern about where my food came from.
Okay.
So for years I've been going to farmers market or just sourcing locally, like especially apples. People don't realize that Maryland has over 30 orchards, the state of Maryland.
Okay.
We grow a lot of apples in Maryland. So just being mindful of that, mindful of the farms that are locally, and then taking that model to apply it actually urban, like to in the city, like vacant lots. Seeing the numerous amounts of vacant lots in the neighborhoods that you know, mentoring youth in and things of that nature. I was looking at them like, man, you know, they need to do this, they need to do that, they could do that. And as I was saying they more and more, I was realizing that was the calling. The calling, it was like, you know, if they were going to do it, it would have been done. So because I was noticing that before I would point the finger in the direction of who I think could be doing something or how I think that this could be repurposed, I just went and took a shot at it myself.
Yeah.
And then it led me on a journey where I was able to learn how to grow indoors and outdoors effectively. So like with the microgreens that I brought here, these are grown, you know, these are like less than 10 days old. So showing people that you can take seeds indoors and a week later you have food.
Yeah.
It's not to the design or the definition of what we're taught food is, like the 4 food groups. That's a bunch of hogwash, literally.
Okay.
You know what I mean, when it comes to that. But we get to unpack that. But just to accelerate the movement, our people in particular, people of color, that I've seen us delve into things head first and not even know any information about food, information, clothing, I mean, all across the board. So, but when it comes to health and wellness, folk want to say, oh, well, you know, you got to take it in stride, or you got to, everything takes a process. And I agree with that, with the terminology, everything takes a process, but a process doesn't have to be 3 years. A process doesn't have to be, you know, it's the same thing when an addict goes to rehab. The same way that I look at drugs is the same way I look at certain foods. So that's why you have the Food and Drug Administration, they work together. So certain foods are drugs. And then once you get addicted to it, it's trying to take somebody's chicken away, or the way that the chicken is fried and prepared is like trying to take somebody's drug away from them. Wow. Literally. But people get self-righteous because it's a legal drug. Bacon is a legal drug. You know what I mean? You're addicted to it. You'll eat everything healthy, but I don't take away my bacon, is what a lot of people say. I gotta have my bacon because you're addicted to it. And I'm not here to tell them to stop. I'm here to tell you to just admit to yourself that you're addicted to it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Certain things your body requires water. It doesn't require those animal products. It doesn't require that to live, to sustain itself. If that was the case, we wouldn't have to cook it. We'd just be going around eating raw meat with no seasoning.
That's right. That's right.
You know what I mean? That's the thing I tell the youth when we make the juices and the things of that nature. I would tell them, imagine the meat smoothie and the fruit smoothie. I was like, would you drink a meat smoothie? They're like, ew, no. And I was like, all right, well, wait a minute. We'll take a plate of food. You eat the chicken wings for the appetizer. You throw that on there. You throw the steak in there and the shrimp. You know, you eating fancy. Then okay, you think you're healthy. You throw the salad, all of that in the blender and pour some ice water on it. You was good to yourself. You didn't drink anything, soda or nothing. All right, cool. And turn that thing on. Would you drink that? They're like, no. I said, well, that's what you just did in your body. You just created that in your body. Only your body doesn't have blades to break it down like that. So now you're relying on organs that feel like the inside of your gums and to mash that up. Because once it get past the teeth process, you don't have anything that's gonna blend it per se.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So people really get it like that. They start looking at it. I'm like, well, you know, but it's different. It's not different. Everything that man made was based off of man. You know what I mean? Even his devices. You know what I mean? So that's how, you know, I'm able, and I start with the youth because it's hard to tear through some adults that have been 30, 40 years of eating the same thing. It's like 30, 40 years of addiction. That's tough.
Yeah.
And then you got people to back, my grandmother been cooking this forever. And I was like, that's because that's the scrap she was given. And God bless all of our great grandmothers and so on. But we eating slave food. I'm going to say it. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to put it out there and analyze that. And it ain't to call nothing right, wrong, or indifferent. It's just to say, hey, let's just put it on the table and call it what it is.
Yes.
If you're still going to eat butter and put all that stuff in your body that comes from that animal or the synthetic version of it, then at least understand that that's what's leading to that disease.
Yes.
It's not that black people are automatically born with hypertension or you automatically born with high blood pressure. No, it's that food.
Yes.
And we're living proof of that. Like a lot of those ailments I never dealt with. I was a sickly child. I was said to have a weak stomach. But it wasn't until I stopped eating. And I didn't really grow up on beef and things of that nature until I got into high school. But even just the chickens and all of that stuff, that stuff affects you.
Yeah.
Like that stuff affects the body, like specifically, whereas though, like it'll make you think you have a weak stomach for 19 years of your life until you don't eat it anymore. So I was tricked. You know what I mean? Or I couldn't. So, but a lot of that was also I was born allergic to dairy products.
Yeah.
Specifically, you know what I mean. So it was like I always had to have a way around it. So people always ask me, "Well, you always like this?" And I said, "I kind of was because I always had to be concerned about what had nuts in it, what had milk in it as a kid."
Yeah.
So I would, you know, come over your house. We were younger. I'm not eating what y'all eating. You know what I mean? I'm eating the celery sticks and everybody laughing at me. You know what I mean? Or everybody eating the chicken wings. I mean the celery sticks and the dip. But fast forward 30 years later, people see the value of that.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and we gonna go to a break shortly, but I want to get right back where we left off, because Sister Twanda was talking about how in the communities we don't have access to that. So I want you to hit on a little bit about that, because what you provide right there in the hood is something that we could take advantage of. So we'll be right back with Brother Dominick Nell. Stay tuned.
The Artist Exchange Radio Show every Friday 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. every Saturday 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. Real artist, real talk, real live on BeExposedRadio.com. I was meeting with a friend yesterday, and I've gotten to the point where don't ask me a question because the truth is going to come out.
Exactly.
Just don't do it.
If you ain't looking for the truth, don't come to me.
Don't do it because I can't hold my tongue. And she wants to be this stylist, boutique but you're not doing anything in that nature, and I can't take you seriously if you're not doing those things. And I understood why people didn't take me seriously, because I found myself in somebody else's lane. I was good at what I was doing and what I wanted to be, but I wasn't doing it for me. So how can I ask you to take me seriously if I'm living in somebody else's shoes?
And nobody can do what you do, and I think that that's a big problem that people face now. Like, you see what somebody else is doing and you want to do that when that's not your lane.
That's not your lane.
That's not what you're supposed to be doing.
But it's popular, it's getting that person money, it's getting that person applause. Oh, I want applause. I want money. Let me stand over here behind them.
And then a lot of times people aren't honest with themselves either. Like, I was thinking earlier today, I've been woke for almost 2 days, so so you get honesty, and I was thinking, like,
The Artist Exchange Radio Show.
Join the club that gives you stuff.
Hey, thanks!
Radio Loyalty.
Here's how it works.
Just click on the Radio Loyalty banner right now and sign up. Then, you keep on listening like you already do. But now you earn points. Those points add up, and you can trade them in for stuff in the Radio Loyalty store. Earn more points by sharing your station with friends on Facebook and Twitter, answering surveys, and by using the apps in the New Players App Store. Pretty simple, right?
Radio Loyalty.
Click that banner to join now.
Hi, I'm LeVar Burton, and I'm proud to be a book person. How do I choose a book? Sometimes it's the cover, sometimes it's the title. I guess I'm pretty visual. If a book's really impressing me and the writing is really good, I will peek and see what the last paragraph is, because the endings of books should rock you. I am a book person, and if you're a book person too, read to a child and spark a lifetime of ambition. Join me at bookpeopleunite.org, because reading is fundamental. A public service announcement brought to you by Reading is Fundamental, Library of Congress, and the Ad Council. Hi, I'm LeVar Burton, and I'm proud to be a book person. How do I choose a book? Sometimes it's the cover, sometimes it's the title. I guess I'm pretty visual. If a book's really impressing me and the writing is really good, I will peek and see.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Welcome back, good people. I am your host, Coach White, your holistic personal trainer. So we have brother Dominick Nell here talking about his urban farm. The question for you, I'm marrying the interview earlier with this one. We were talking about, Sister Twanda mentioned that, some of us only have access to the chicken boxes because of the convenience stores and the half and halves and things of that nature. But the urban farms are right in the hood, right in the communities. So can you speak to that a little bit? Speak to the person that says, you know what? Well, I can go right down the street and get a chicken box.
Well, the interesting part about that is, as far as it's speaking of like Zone 17, 21217, which is labeled a neighborhood area that's labeled as a food desert. And what that means is two types of food desert. Either you don't have access to food, or you don't have access to sustainable food. So in those neighborhoods, they don't have sustainable. They have the chicken box, fried rice, all of that. Now, yeah, there are local farms that are around. We got Strength to Love Farm, we got White Lock Community Farm. The issue is just educating the people and seeing the value in that food. So I give out over 2,000 pounds of food a week, specifically in that neighborhood.
Okay.
So right in front of Umar Box in 12 noon, I'm giving out fresh produce to that community. You know what I mean? Lining them up, passing it out just like they would line up and get handed something, anything else on that corner. You know what I mean? So it's more importantly just meeting the people where they are and creating that access. I've been the route of looking to create a healthy corner store initiative, going to the corner store saying, hey, sell our products and then we can send you more. The farmer Nell following can now buy produce from a corner store during the week as opposed to just once a week at a farmer's market or so.
Gotcha.
That wasn't as successful as we would have liked it to have been. So it just continued to start grassroots, meeting the people where they are, doing the process that we call food rescue, rescuing food that would be thrown away. Like, people don't understand, like around 750,000 pounds of food gets thrown away daily in the state of Maryland. And it's in just this state.
Yeah.
So imagine what goes on in a state like Texas. How much food waste that comes from over budgeting, like people only using a third of the food that they order for events, times 100 events every day in the state. Yeah. And then or grocery stores that now they call it shelf life, but the fruit just doesn't look appealing. The bananas the bananas are now really ripe, but now people don't want to buy them because they've taught you to buy yellow bananas. They've taught you to buy the carrots that aren't carrots. You know what I mean? So I make sure I'm giving out potatoes with dirt on them, and people like trying not to receive. And I'm like, man, this just was in the ground. If you don't understand the science of like, no one else, this ain't stepped on, this ain't touched on, like how you look at how they look at products and the purity of stuff. I said, this is the purest potato you can get. And it was grown locally. And it wasn't grown in the lead. Because like a lot of the issues with the soil in the city is lead in the soil, especially Baltimore. So we have to use a process called raised beds, or more importantly, that's why I grow indoors with the microgreens.
Yeah, explain to us what you got here.
So these are peas.
Okay.
And pretty much microgreens, you create the field with recycled coconut husk. So they call it cocoa pad.
Okay.
So when you speak to like pesticides and things of that nature, you know, I had to wave some of the gnats off on the elevator because I don't use pesticides. I use seeds and water. And light. And so, and that makes the process veganic. And what that means is it's not organic, because organic means you can use animal waste. That's organic. So veganic means there's no animal used in the process at all. There's no and there's no pesticide. So you don't get so it's the purest product you can get. The nutrient density is 40 to 100 times more than the fully grown plant. So what that means is, in the car I got some red cabbage. You can eat, I can eat one microgreen of red cabbage. You can eat the whole head of red cabbage. I'll sit there and wait for you. And my levels are going to be at least 40 times more than yours just off that one. But in that sitting, I could eat 2 fields of red cabbage. You finish one, my body's already digested that and put the energy in me. You won't get your energy until Tuesday or Wednesday from that red cabbage. You understand what I'm saying?
I do.
From your body breaking it down and processing it. So people understand that, like, even just because, I eat salads, I eat this, you got to look at what you're eating to see how your body's receiving it and digesting it. Just like this chlorophyll water I brought you. This chlorophyll alkaline water, it's the alkaline 8.5. So that means that that's above 7. That means it's energizing the body as opposed to acid.
I'm excited already.
And this was made for the guys on the corners, because they weren't really, they respected my green juice called kale, and I got a beet juice called bull's blood. But when they look at that, they're like, man, I gotta be out here on the block. I don't want something that's gonna have to make me run to the bathroom. So I'm like, but I see what you're doing, man. I want to be a part of that. All right, so I put the vegetables in the water. All right, brother, buy the water. The juice was too much at $7. All right, the water is $3. Respect my hustle.
I love it.
So that's the whole business aspect of City Weeds. I'm meeting the brothers where they at on the corner. Like, all right, change the whole design of owning the block. Buy the block. Buy this vacant lot. Make a farm stand. Grow some tomatoes and basil and make some West Side tomato sauce. Then I could teach you how to sell it for $10 to high-end restaurants downtown. And why would you have to run from the police again?
Man.
And you can still let your pants sag, because that's your prerogative, and I don't respect it. But hey, if you're doing it, we change it one step at a time. At least change that. So I'm attacking out of 10 brothers on the corner. I'm attacking that 4 that don't want to be out there already. So then that's critical mass. Once they come over, and once those 2 that are already in the middle see those 4 getting Jordans and buying whatever they buy off of fruit and juice and growing their own stuff, now it's 6 guys off the block. Now you got the 4 guys that love the allure of it and probably won't change the game. So I got 6 out of 10. You know what I'm saying? And that's the critical mass I'm looking to affect.
That's powerful.
You know what I mean? And in the process, teaching the youth that process, making Farmer Nell a cool character for them to be. You know what I mean? Like, all right, like I could take these skill sets and go somewhere else and actually make a whole heap of money with this knowledge and these tactics. But I'm staying in where it's tough, where the people don't get it, and where the people need it, and ramp up to where so I can just give it to it for free. Like, why make them pay for this? When they've been struggling and getting ran through a maze their whole life anyway. Why put them through another maze? Why bring it to them? Why not bring it to them? Serve them. You know what I mean? Like how they being served everything else.
That's key. That's key. So let me ask you this. I got a lot of questions I want to ask you in a little bit of time. But you mentioned fake carrots. I heard you say fake carrots and I started smiling. Because people will be surprised at what's real and what's not real. And I think, and I heard this on a documentary, now people are throwing organic tags on everything.
Yeah.
Right? Because people, in our minds, we see organic and psychologically we think healthier.
Or natural.
Yeah. Speak about that, bro.
So let's talk about natural flavoring. Those out there listening and watching, you can Google it right now. You won't get, you'll type in natural flavoring, I guarantee you before you spell flavoring out, beaver will come up.
Okay.
80% of all natural flavoring or natural flavors consist of, it could be 30 to 40 different things. Just like beef is not one animal, beef is beef. Beef is a reference to a thing.
Yeah.
So just to take it straight there, 90% of all the vanilla flavoring, all these sweeteners in teas, even that pure leaf tea, it says, you know, leaf, all this natural stuff, and there's natural flavors. Okay, natural flavors could be, natural can mean the anus of a beaver, which it means that in most cases, they take there's a gland that's located in the anus of a beaver that they use for 80% of natural flavors.
Get out of here.
Most color and ketchup come from ladybugs from the South Pacific.
Wow.
A bunch of ladybugs that they get that dye of red. So, and that's natural. And under the definition, so when you look, you got to study the Food and Drug Administration, you got to study the USDA.
Okay.
And like who's regulating what you're eating? Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? That's where the science comes behind, because people, this is good, just because it's on the shelf though. And there's the cheeseburger law. That means you can get obese and get sick off of McDonald's, and you can't sue them because there's a law stating that you should already know that that's not good for you. Even though they never give you the information stating that if you become a glutton from eating Whoppers your whole life, that was your fault by law. So they protect themselves with that. So if you're not, so basically it's like if you're not growing your own food, or at least if you're gonna eat the animal, like where's that animal coming from?
Yeah.
What's in ground beef? What parts? You know what I mean? Like, what's really going on? Why do you need to eat that? Why are you giving kids hot dogs at the church event or the back to school event? You got hot dogs and hamburgers, but you want them to think differently. You want them to behave differently. So I'm real hardcore worker, and a lot of people like, but I tell them I'll come with a box of carrots. We put the carrots on the grill. Use the same hot dog rolls with the relish and the mustard and make a carrot hot dogs.
Wow. Okay.
I did it slam right in front, like, oh, I want one, boom, to give them the same grill, little marks, whatever. You eating carrots.
Yeah.
We don't have to eat that. We don't have to eat that processed animal. Like, there's so much processing going on like that. I would be better off like just shooting a deer and doing it the old-fashioned way, like a hunter. Like, all right, we have to eat tonight. All right, we're gonna go get the animal. We're gonna go get the fish because we gotta eat now.
Yeah.
But the European ways, they came over and they did it for sport. So now we have a slaughter society. We have a meat section. And you think that doesn't desensitize murder in a city like Baltimore with high homicides?
Wow.
Think about that. How much beef and blood intake goes into those young men of distorted animals, fear, despair, and they growing up off of it. And then at 15, they're doing something what they would call crazy. But look at that social experiment that just happened. He never had nothing green in his body where they had to remove his appendix, because his appendix backfired because he never processed chlorophyll.
Wow.
How many brothers we knew growing up had their appendix removed that we actually knew? You know what I'm saying? Like, damn, like, oh, you know what I mean? Or how many brothers, you know what I mean? Rest in peace, Big Sid. He had a pacemaker before we graduated high school.
Very true.
And it was matter of fact to us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was like, all right, you know what I mean? Yeah. I look back like, wow, that was like, and look at what we were eating. Look at what he was eating.
Yeah.
You know, we came from households was like, all right, well, the junk was, you wasn't getting junk in there.
Yeah.
But our families might have been cooking a tradition of something that was probably tearing the fur off of us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Tearing the fur off of us, and they don't even know it was blind ignorance. They don't, like, mama and them pass the roast beef on Sundays. That's what we eat, roast, the shoulder of the animal beef. That's what it is, with the gravy and the butter, and you cook it down. And I'm not mad at nobody. I'm just saying, how long do we gotta do that without looking at how we got there? We want to change the schools and all of that, the education, all, but we don't change the food.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. So let me ask you this. Look, I don't know much about farms, but I wanted to ask you, I got your motivation. What makes your farm unique in comparison to other farms?
Well, specifically talking about the microgreens, is strictly indoor farming. Okay. I can make a harvest weekly, so that means I can have 50 plus harvests a year. Okay. I can grow more than big farm, or as much as big farmers as far as seed ratios. But of course, I'm never letting the vegetable grow into the full vegetable. I'm growing microgreens, so I'm growing fields of vegetables to eat within a week. That makes it rather unique, I would think, especially in a city like Baltimore. There isn't anybody that I know in my community that's doing anything remotely near that. There's some other urban farmers that I've worked with, but they're all initiatives of outdoors. A brother is focused on sunflowers and sunflower seeds. Okay. And having the, and addressing the city from an aesthetic standpoint. I'm addressing it from a standpoint of feeding the youth and teaching communities how to feed themselves, as well as creating social enterprises. Like, all right, like I said, you can grow tomatoes and basil and see who got the best tomato sauce in Baltimore. Yeah. Like block for block. On that, with that same mentality of, I got the best such and such, I got the best whatever. I hear you. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, like, who's the best? To have a contest and let us control that. We don't have to wait for the city, the state. None of us. Like, the community can do these things. That's another thing. Showing them that what they can do now. That corner they growing something. Now they looking at somebody littering totally different. Yeah. It's starting empowerment, and that's by design. You got a whole community full of people who pay rent, as opposed to paying mortgage or actually own something. Yeah. So I tell people, like, this is how you can tell if somebody owns something they renting, especially in Baltimore, in my neighborhood. I'm like, all right, if somebody come on the step and smoke a cigarette and they pluck it in the street, they probably live there. If they put it out on the front step, I mean, they're paying rent. Yeah. Wow. You know what I'm saying? Because they can just move to a new, you know what I'm saying, interchangeable. So that's the mentality. So it's not like I have the ability right now to get everybody ownership of their own domain. Yeah. But you can own these blocks and own these corners. And now it builds ownership from that standpoint. Now they own something. The community has something that's theirs that they have to say so about. Yeah. So even when the city wants to come and take it, if the community owns it, they had to buy it. Yeah. So that $3,000 block is now $30,000 just because we said so. Yeah, and giving and empowering communities that way, and also to offset the gentrification, because when these blocks get bought up and people come in and move in, the mamas that have been living there 30, 40 years, their taxes gonna go up. Yeah. So we need something to offset that. So we need these urban farms to grow something, let the community run it. Whatever money they make off the flat end of it, let that offset mama and them tax ratio, so where they don't have to pay no more. Okay. For as long as they decide to live there.
So real quick, can you tell people, we got about 10 seconds, can you tell people how to reach you?
City Weeds on Facebook, Farmer Nell on Facebook, on Instagram, I'm Nellaware, Nellaware.
Okay. Thank you, good people. We'll be right back. Man, this is exciting, man.
That's a wrap. We got one more tape.
Yeah,
Well, Jason, I've got to tell you, you're pretty much everything this company is looking for in an entry-level candidate.
Great.
Your resume isn't quite what we're used to, but you've got a fantastic work ethic.
Thank you.
And I'm impressed by how you carry yourself.
So, should we talk about the job?
What? The job? Oh, sorry. Yeah, I have no way of recruiting or even meeting you. This interview didn't happen.
It may sound ridiculous, and that's because it kind of is. There's a huge pool of talent your company is missing out on. Meet the grads of life. Who are they? Talent worth knowing about. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or even mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
Man, we really could have used him.
Don't miss out on a resource many innovative companies have already discovered. Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
My name is Ruth Rusey. I'm a retired teacher. I'm 91 years old, and this is how I live United. I say retired, but not really. Once a week, I read books to children as part of United Way's education program. Reading to a child creates links between language and literacy. It creates a bond between grown-up and child. And believe it or not, it prepares them for a better academic future. Oh, we read about frogs and flies and pigs with wings, all sorts of juicy stuff. It's a joy to watch all those little faces. I figure I have the time and they have the need. And I've always believed that if we're not here to help each other, then what are we here for really? My name is Ruth Rusey. I help kids prepare to succeed in school. So I don't just
Join
wear
the
the
Just a
shirt.
Bit
I
Outside
live it.
crew every Monday, 8 to 10 p.m. on BeExposedRadio.com.
You wanna start off?
I think I'll get it out of the way on a who's not.
Okay, do it.
The Orioles.
Right, right.
They got swept by the Royals. They lost 4 in a row, and the last 5 games have all been decided by 1 run.
Mm-hmm.
The game before, or the last game that they lost before the Royals was the Nationals, and it was Weeders, of course, won with a home run.
Hit the home run.
Right.
They were going into that Nationals.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Welcome back, good people. Again, I am your host, Coach White. This is the Conflict Resolution Show. Sitting here with my brother, Dominick Nell, representing the Urban Farms. So we're going to close with you, good brother. So I'm just throw a couple questions out there. Just want to make sure that our viewing audience is aware. So talk to me about pest control measures. What kind of pest control measures do you use?
Well, as far as indoors,
Keyboard cat.
other than like
Hamilton the
naturally
Pud.
burning like lemon oil, there's no other pest control measures that I take outside of just keeping my materials clean.
Okay.
No pesticides at all. Indoors and outdoors. So outdoors we don't use any pesticides either.
Okay. And you know, I noticed, I think it's a farm, my son had football practice. Northwood was using Lake Clifton. It's a farm on the other side as well. So that's some good stuff, man. And again, I had to look up these questions because I know nothing about a farm. So everything you're saying is empowering me. So what kind of soil do you use?
Growing microgreens, like I was stating, we use the cocoa pads, which is recycled coconut husk. So when they use the factories that make coconut milk or coconut products, that husk, that's why, that's all it is. And that's a medium. We put the seeds on top of that and the water. Soil outdoors, we have to use proper soil imported. We don't use the grass that's there. We create a raised bed, make sure there's plastic at the bottom, create a box, and then have soil put in it. But it's not any special soil, but we still test the soil from period to time, because the whole issue is lead being in the soil. So even if you add new soil, there's, with the rain and so much sediment, lead is still a big issue with that. So that's why I do prefer growing indoors.
Yeah.
Just for the control. I know what I can control indoors versus outdoors.
Yeah, and I noticed you mentioned before about lead. So we have an issue of lead in water.
And in the soil. So there's the vacant lot. There was a home there that was demolished. You just reverse it back. There was a vacant lot. Or it was a abandoned house that was demolished. The abandoned house had lead paint in it. So when all that settles right in the soil. So it settles, then grass grows. So you throw kale seeds in there, whatever, everything's gonna grow like it's gonna grow like wildfire, but it's lead in the kale. They did that before. Like they did that up and down Fulton, and they were getting higher levels of lead in the kale than they were in eating lead directly.
Goodness gracious.
Because it was administered, it was going directly into the body, as opposed to a child that ate lead paint chips versus a child that didn't. The lead exposures was extremely different, you know what I mean? Versus now somebody's eating a vegetable that has lead in the soil, that it drew from the soil.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Man.
So so all of these were key factors, like, oh wow, it wasn't just that simple. Wherever you see grass in the city, you just throw some seeds. Nah, it ain't that simple. It requires some work, but I mean, it can be done. Yeah. And it's not like it's a rocket science where you know, it's not anything outside of just building a box and putting dirt in it and putting some seeds in it. All these things are attainable things.
Boy, oh boy.
Resource-wise, it don't take nothing for that. And people don't realize everything, tomato, like a too ripe tomato, you slice it up and you throw it in some soil, cover it up, it's gonna grow tomatoes.
And how, like, I'm looking at this, how long does it take for something like this to grow?
A week. This is a week old.
This is a week?
Yeah, this is a week old. And this one particular, if you cut, like you take the scissors and cut the tops off and put this on your salad or your sandwich or whatever, it's going to continue to grow as long as you keep the bottom wet.
Okay.
It'll be growing, and you can just sit it right on your countertop. Okay. Or your desk or wherever the case may be. And it's going to bring the flies. It's not flies that are coming from somewhere else. People understand when you have seeds, there's germ in the seed. And you want that in there. You want pests in the seed. That's how you know that it's really what it is. Mm-hmm. So I don't really mind the gnats that come from the seeds, me personally.
Yeah.
So I have a whole room that's just filled with them, and the more that I've become accustomed to it, the more, ironically, I don't get like mosquito bites and stuff. Like, I'm like a beekeeper almost to the point where I can go outside and the bugs will come around me, but they're not gonna bother me. Or maybe I'm not bothered by that. Maybe it was something that changed in me and it's the same thing happening. I'm just looking at it differently, but I don't get mosquito bites no more. You know what I mean? Yeah. And the gnats, when I'm watering and all of that, is, you know, you would think that me having a beard, it would be, people like, how do you deal with that? And I'm just like, it's a part of it. And I think that they get that. You know what I mean? I think that when you become more and more one with nature, nature starts to the more you understand nature, the more nature understands you, literally. Yeah. And the more, and dogs and animals, even being more and more plant-based, they're more subservient to me as opposed to when I was eating other things. You know, they can smell straight through you, so they know what's going on inside you. So even my dealings with other living animals, or I even ask people, have you ever held a chicken and felt its heartbeat? And do you have the desire to wring its neck and kill it in yourself to do that? Yeah. And if you don't have it in yourself, then you don't need to eat it. Yeah, that's you understand what I'm saying? That's how I feel. Like, if you're not going to physically kill one of those animals on your own, if you had to, then you don't deserve the luxury to actually eat that animal. Wow. Because it takes no effort to grow a crop, but it takes a lot of effort to kill an animal. Yeah. And if you ain't really to go through that chasing a chicken, to kill it, to wring its neck, or to milk a cow, if you're not really about that life, because like I said, I come from butchers, farmers, and fishermen. And the one thing that I would reserve the right to do is fish, not for sport, but to eat. But to chase a chicken or hunt, all of those, even the most humane ways with the bow and arrow, all of the tactics that I've been taught, in my heart, I'd be like, man, I'm doing this for the skill set of it or because it's tradition, but I ain't like killing deers with the bow and arrow or shooting a gun and killing the bird. I didn't like it. Yeah. I was proficient in it, but it was something that I wouldn't choose to do, even if I had to do it. I was like, all right, is there another way that I can eat or survive without necessarily doing that? Yeah, that's real. And if so be it, then so be it. You know what I mean? But, and I don't think people look at it like that. I don't think people look at a chicken and some chicken wings and then look at their dog and cat, their household pet, as the same thing. I doubt if they do either. And somebody's deciding on which one is cool for you to eat. So that's another thing. Like I said, as long as I've been a free thinker, I get to decide what I put in my body. It's not gonna be like, oh, this structural society. Oh, that's what they ate. That's what those folks ate, and that became a tradition. And then we bought into that, and it's tearing the fur off us. Would you feed a gorilla? Would you feed a polar bear, and vice versa?
Yeah.
And that's how we are in America. You have people that are used that their bodies can digest a certain diet. That's why we have different blood types. People don't get it. So it's real imperative that people just start really looking at. I'm not telling people not to eat animals or to stop eating animals. What I'm saying is to become more educated about the animals you're eating. And don't be tricked by the word meat. Meat is just a fragment of the English language, which is M was put in front of eat. To train your mind that it's food. Eat, meat. But when you say animal, you think of hoof, fur, feathers. And I continue to say, so what animals do you eat or what animals don't you eat in my conversation, so people become more aware of that you're eating an animal. I don't eat animals, my fault, you eat dead animals. Excuse me, you know what I'm saying? You eat the dead animal. Like how old is that dead animal? How old was it when they killed it? And if you having those conversations, and a lot of people don't want to have them, but it becomes more clear, like it opens up the minds of the youth when they start really looking at it.
Yeah.
And that's my key. It's a 14-year-old boy told me it's over summer camp that he's like, yeah, I got high blood pressure because my grandfather did. Boy, you 14, brother. You got what you did. That's not genetics. You inherited the habits.
Yes.
That's what happened. You know what I mean? And so, and he was able to see that. It was really hard because he was like, it tastes so good and that and third. And I'm like, yeah, you're a fiend.
Yeah.
You a meat fiend. He ain't like the way that sounded, but I said, but you just gotta admit it, you a meat fiend, you addicted to the meat. He's like, no, I'm not. Well, prove me otherwise. Yeah. Prove yourself otherwise. You don't necessarily prove anything to me, but that's the challenge that I'm always tackled with. And it's not easy, man.
Yeah. Well, look, man, I appreciate your message. Thank you all for joining us. Glad Brother Nell was able to stop through. I am your holistic personal trainer, Coach White. Thank you for joining us on the Conflict Resolution Show. We will have part 2 next week. Join us next Sunday at 7 p.m. And I hope you have a good week. See you next week. Peace.
And Toast Meets World. These are some of the internet's most beloved pets. With millions of YouTube views, shares, Instagram likes, followers, and fans across the globe. But what do all these amazing pets have in common? Their stories started in a shelter. Start your story. Adopt a dog or cat today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a shelter or adoptable pets near you. Training that pet to play the keyboard? Well, that's entirely up to you. Visit theshelterpetproject.org and hear more about Hamilton the Pug, Toast, and Keyboard Cat's amazing adoption stories. Start a story, adopt a shelter or rescue pet today. Your perfect pet is just a click away at theshelterpetproject.org.
Because it's gentle on your baby's eyes. You make sure his toys don't have any sharp edges. You always test the bath water to make sure it's not too hot. You taught her what to do when the smoke alarm goes off. You make sure she wears a helmet when she rides her bicycle. You put on his sunscreen, even when he's embarrassed his friends will see. You do so much to keep your child safe. But are you using the right car seat for your child? Is your child facing the right way in the car seat? Is the seat too big or too small? How do you know when it's time to move your child into the next type of seat? Car crashes are a leading killer of children ages 1 to 13. Protect your child's future at every stage of life. For information on the right seat for your child, visit safercar.gov/therightseat. That's safercar.gov/therightseat.
A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Why is Connor having trouble focusing in school?
Having trouble finding Connor's middle school? Would you like directions?
No, why is Connor having trouble focusing in school?
Finding lowest airfare to Istanbul.
No, I'm tired of fighting with him over homework.
Home walk restaurant. Need a review?
No, I need help. He's very smart, but his mind wanders. He's disorganized.
I think I understand.
Oh, good.
Finding best potatoes for French fries.
No!
Russet. Fingerling. Yukon Gold.
Why don't you understand me?
Sorry, I was trying to show how Connor feels every day. Frustrating, isn't it? Redirecting to understood.org.
For the 1 in 5 kids with learning and attention issues, this is what life can feel like. Explore understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues, designed to help your child thrive in school and in life. Understood.org, because understanding is everything.
Brought to you by understood.org and the Ad Council.
My name is Ruth Rusey. I'm a retired teacher. I'm 91 years old, and this is how I live united. I say retired, but not really. Once a week, I read books to children as part of United Way's education program. Reading to a child creates links between language and literacy. It creates a bond between grown-up and child. And believe it or not, it prepares them for a better academic future. Oh, we read about frogs and flies and pigs with wings, all sorts of juicy stuff.